Have you ever observed that the temptation to give up frequently appears just before to the breakthrough? Not at the beginning, when you're enthusiastic and visionary. When the finish line is close, you'll be right at the edge, not in the center when you're still hanging on. When the prayer nearly receives an answer, just as the door swings open, fatigue starts to whisper louder at that point. The heavenly silence becomes more oppressive at that point. At that point, it feels good to give up. But in reality, it's robbery. I have been there, so I know, as I have been. There have been times when, because it took longer than I anticipated, I nearly gave go of what I had prayed for. There were times when I told myself that perhaps it wasn't meant to be. Perhaps the delay might have been a denial. However, something within of me would rise during those very moments and whisper, "Don't give up before God moves." And I would return to these three scriptures each time I felt that struggle. My strength when I am stuck and my anchors when I want to run. Galatians 6:9. Let's avoid getting tired while working. Excellent. Because if we don't give up, we shall reap a harvest at the right moment. Allow this truth to become ingrained in your soul. If we persevere, we will reap. Passive encouragement is not what this verse is. It's an urgent pledge encased in guidance. Weariness is implied by the phrase "do not become weary." It's a necessary aspect of the trip. Often doing good feels slow, inconspicuous, and unappreciated. You give abundantly, serve faithfully, and love selflessly, but you receive nothing in return. The promise remains intact, but you wonder if heaven took notice. You will reap when the time is right, when God, not man, has designated it. But if you persist, you will realize how serious the problem is. The hinge is that is the pivotal moment. That is the pivotal moment. Scripture promises more than simply a bountiful crop. Because the biggest breakthroughs are frequently just beyond the urge to give up, it requires perseverance. God isn't attempting to exhaust you, to prevent you from being destroyed by the harvest. He is cultivating your roots. Additionally, this could be an indication that you are about to resign. Continue to love, continue to love, continue to pray. The harvest is authentic. To get there, though, is a test. Everything God does has divine timing. We get more than we could have ever dreamed when we stitch into His timing. The harvest is not the only thing we get. It changes us, it transforms, strengthens, and stabilizes us. Because we develop a deeper kind of trust throughout the wait. Without praise, we learn to love. Without a spotlight, we serve. We are raised in a secret location where God fosters the kind of perseverance that can bring true glory. Waiting is similar to drought-stricken farming. You dig dry the ground. What doesn't grow gets watered. The same arid environment greets you as you awaken. The farmer doesn't leave though. Why? Because he is aware that something is taking place beneath the ground. Deeper roots are emerging. Secretly, seeds are developing. The field will react as soon as the rain arrives. Spiritual harvest operates in this manner. Just before it comes to life, it appears to be dead. Psalm 27:14. Hold on to the Lord, remain resilient, have faith, and wait on the Lord. Not because he ran out of words, David reiterates of concepts, but because he was aware that we would forget, since it frequently seems like nothing is occurring. Waiting is one of the most difficult spiritual disciplines. This psalm, however, reinterprets waiting as a place of courage training rather than a delay. Hold on to the Lord. This suggestion is not passive. It's a spiritual call to slow down and align with the way God is moving, to put trust ahead of fear, to think that even though there's nothing on the page, God is still writing. Be resilient and have faith. David is not instructing us to gather up phony optimism. Fortify your heart while you wait, he says. Hold on to your faith more firmly. Remind yourself that waiting is not the same as denying. because God accomplishes some of His most profound things while we wait, not only in our situation but also in who we are. Waiting like this is active. It improves judgment. It burns pride and haste away. It grounds us in the fact that God is sufficient and shatters the delusion that we are in charge, even if the response is still pending. Therefore, don't wait because you restuck, but because you have faith. Await with excitement rather than indifference. You know that what God is constructing in the dark will stand in the light, so you should wait. It is not passive to wait. Power is the result of pressure. Like a butterfly's cocoon, the waiting area can feel confining. However, that's where change takes place. Shortening the process weakens the wings. However, what comes out can fly if you wait. Waiting is not a waste for God. Layer by layer, He infuses it with meaning until the promise has enough weight to Isaiah 41. Stand. However, those who wait on the Lord will become stronger. This passage is more than just consoling. It reveals how God provides for His people. A stance of leaning in rather than stepping back is implied by those who wait on the Lord. Not resignation but expectation. Waiting here entails entwining your heart with His, to encircle His strength with your vulnerability. You can't just sit back and hope. It is leaning in with confidence. Will regain their strength. Isn't only poetic, it's useful. It indicates even if things might not change right away, you will. To swap is the precise meaning of the Hebrew word for renew. You exchange your weakness for His strength, your tiredness for His endurance, and your bewilderment for His clarity. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Isaiah continues by comparing people who wait to eagles who soar, runners who never tire, and walkers who never faint. Supernatural strength, that is. It's not hustle. When reason tells you to give up, that's heaven helping you go on. The picture of flying such as an eagle is not by chance. Eagles wait for the wind to rise rather than flapping. They are lifted effortlessly as they expand their wings and catch the current. When you wait, God guarantees you that. Not exhausting strength, but strength that keeps you going. It's not about making more effort. It has to do with being upheld by grace. God uses circumstances to transform us. Therefore, sometimes He doesn't make changes right away. Isaiah promises a new strength that goes beyond simply getting through difficult times. The goal is to become unbreakable, someone who exemplifies breakthrough rather than merely requesting it, a person whose faith endures beyond frustration. Perhaps God is asking you to give up trying on your own initiative if you feel like you can't continue on. Let Him be the strength you lack while you wait for Him. This morning, I have no idea why you have felt the need to give up. I'm not sure where you're feeling done, let down, or delayed. However, I am aware of this. God does everything in His own time, and He always has the appropriate timing. If you might never know what was on the other side of your surrender if you let go now. So take a breath before you leave. Go back and review what God opened before you declared closed, as opposed to saying I can't. Keep in mind the person who is capable. You underestimate how close you are, even though it may feel dry beneath your feet. Clouds are starting to form. The sky is evolving. The change is on the way. What if today isn't just another difficult day, if I may add that? What if the door you have been hammering on is about to open? What if you were to obey and you will only notice momentum in the light, but the dark is generating it in the spirit? Sometimes the appearance of the solution isn't the best indication of a breakthrough. It's the fortitude you discovered by holding out. The times you persisted. The silent prayers you said while no one else was around. Growth is that. God is that. Even if the mountain is still there, that type of trust may move it. Don't just wait then, await with anticipation. Hold your soul steady and your gut full of fire as you wait. Hold on like a person who is aware of God has not forgotten. Wait as if you believe that the same God who promised something will also carry it out. And worship while you wait. Be faithful while you wait. Act as though the answer is already coming as you wait. Don't give up before God does anything. Lord, good morning. I want to start this prayer with the unvarnished truth rather than with fancy words. Here it is then. I've thought about giving up several times. I've considered putting everything on paper. Not because I no longer believe in you are, but only because I'm worn out. It's the kind of fatigue that resides in the soul's bones, not the kind that sleep can cure. The kind that, when no one is present, sighs silently. The type that doesn't question you but questions whether I've missed you in some way. Long after midnight last week, I perched on the side of my bed. Though the room was still, my mind was racing with inquiries. I mumbled, "Is any of this even working?" as I glanced up at the ceiling but at nothing specific. Out of exhaustion, not disobedience, I wasn't upset. I was devoid of anything. The prayers had been said by me. I've been waiting for months. Even at great expense, I have been obedient. I'm still torn between the promise and its realization. Somewhere between what I see and what you stated. But Lord, here's the reality. I didn't give up. I didn't leave. I remain here, continuing to bring you my weary hallelujah. Even when my hold is weak, continuing to hold the line of hope. Because something in the quietest part of me thinks you are not finished. That this pain won't go away. It's the invitation. The pressure before the release, the stretch before the shift. So here I am once more, extending my tired, longing heart to you. Where hope has been leaking, strengthen me. Strengthen my soul, where it seems weak. Be the support system for me, when I am unable to keep myself together. I acknowledge that disappointment has attempted to overpower your words and frustration has coiled itself around my thoughts. I will not, however, surrender my faith to emotions. I choose trust even in the mystery. I'm not going to curse this weight. I'll announce your goodness within it. I won't allow your presence to be defined by quiet. I am aware that you are the God who operates in secret and communicates in silence. So let me hear what my eyes aren't yet able to see. Show me how to follow your fingerprints even when they are hidden. Remember all the times you've proven yourself devoted. Each time you responded succinctly yet fully. Allow my memories to serve as the foundation for my current beliefs. Allow history to accompany you and silence the enemy's falsehoods that claim you have walked away. Anchor me in your word when it makes sense to quit. Remind me of what you've said so far. Remind me that my life is based on the rock that never moves, not on shifting sand. I know you won't start now, and you have never let me down. When you have never let me down, impatience strikes, Lord, keep me steady. Keep me modest when vanity demands explanations. When distance is easy, keep me close. Don't let my feelings overpower my convictions and drive me to abandon the brink of a breakthrough. I placed my timeline at your feet once more. Every silent tear, every expectation, every door that remains closed. I awoke each morning with the hope that today would be the day. Before I lived it, you wrote every day, counted every sigh, and captured every tear. This one is part of it. I therefore decide to think that this season is not a waste, that you're recreating something more profound than I realize. Make my waiting a kind of adoration. Allow me to devote myself to my delay. Let me develop an unbreakable depth as a result of these lengthy nights. Make me anchored, rooted in faith and powerful in silence. In confidence, use this time to shape me rather than to irritate me. Make me obstinate, not out of pride, but out of conviction. Even though it feels like the ground is trembling, let me stick to what you promised. Even when my body wants to complain, let my words express life. Instead of only winning at receiving, Let me be found faithful in waiting. And most importantly, I'm grateful. I appreciate you sticking with me. For remaining close when I was unable to sense it. For protecting me in spirit when I was unaware that I was being attacked. For when I should have crumbled, serenity appeared as an unseen favor that kept me going. For reminding me that you still see me with this exact moment. I'm not going to quit today. I'm getting closer. I'm not going anywhere. I'm bending in. I'm not going to give up. Again, I'm giving it my all for you. Lord, there are moments when the promise seems so distant that I lose sight of why I began. When I first heard your voice, there was a fire, but I have since forgotten it, the wide-eyed wonder who dared to share your audacious dreams. I can't recall the thrill of the joyful eagerness and naive trust that made every day seem like it held a secret miracle. I forget that the most important things are frequently grown in obscure locations. Locations that appear to be quiet, but are actually heaven's holy workshops. Give me a fresh lens, a holy lens, before I ask for answers. Let me examine what this waiting is doing inside of me, in addition to what I am waiting for. Let me see how you use time to change rather than suffer. Let me see not only the promise but also the beauty of your process. Waiting is not passive, please remind me. It's foretelling. Heaven creates solid foundations in this fruitful area to ensure that blessings don't collapse under the weight of shallow roots when they arrive. Let me see not just the fulfillment but also the formation. The beauty of becoming. Show me. Please remind me that this waiting period is a time of preparation, rather than punishment. You are creating something sacred inside of me, as well as around me. You are testing my priorities, reorienting my ambitions, strengthening my character, and increasing my reliance. I had no idea I was holding on to the things you are taking away. You are ensuring that the blessing does not come before I am prepared to accept it. You are doing more than just helping me. You're re-influencing me in some way. And if you had moved too soon, I could have missed that miracle. Perhaps the breakthrough I've been praying for begins with a wall breaking inside of me rather than a door opening in front of me. Perhaps the intimacy developed during these silent, stretched moments is the true gift. Perhaps it's the bravery that develops only when there is no applause. Perhaps it's the kind of faith that is strengthened by fire rather than by answers. Thus I release the urgent demand. I relax the need to be there. I don't want to rush to what I believe I need and miss what you're redoing. Give me the courage to appreciate the middle ground, the fortitude to bear the unknowable, the discernment to realize that waiting is worthwhile. It is not where dreams are realized, but where warriors are formed. Allow me to view silence as a tactic rather than an absence. Allow me to view the delay as a divine reorganization, rather than a rejection. I'd like to move with you if you're re-altering things, you're re-preparing if you're re-hiding information. Between the wonders, let me hear the murmurs. Assist me in embracing the secret. Areas where roots are buried deep and will eventually bear fruit. Time is not wasted waiting. It amplifies the purpose. Calling is not diminished by it. It builds up capacity. It helps faith grow. It reorients what is important. It frees me from flimsy expectations and keeps me rooted in unending hope. It compels me to slow down sufficiently to listen, to focus, to set aside idols I was unaware I possessed. I've learned to let go and trust that you were never in a hurry because you were never behind. I'm not against your timing. It is my confidence, my covering and my affirmation. So, this is my statement for today. I'm not going to waste the wait. While I wait, I shall serve. While I wait, I will forgive. While I wait, I shall develop. When I have to worship, I shall cry, yes I do. While I wait, I shall say brave prayers. And since you cover the gaps, I will give you empty-handed praise. This season I will be dependable, not resentful, not straying, nor retreating. Don't worry, keep my hands occupied with obedience. Instead of panic, flood my voice with appreciation. Construct an altar out of my attitude, so that you can reside there. Before the answer arrives, teach me to celebrate, not as a phony festivity but as genuine assurance. Assurance that the promised God is still alive, that the person who can speak galaxies into existence yet leans in to listen to my whisper. Allow me to worship, dance and laugh once more. You never lose because you are still fighting with me, not because the fight is done. That breakthrough, in my opinion, is more than a fleeting moment. You are already creating momentum. Get my heart ready to hold what you are letting go of. Extend my soul to accept without arrogance. To avoid losing my cool under pressure, try to extend my patience. Remove any arrogance that can undermine the blessing. Eliminate any uncertainty that would minimize what I've been called to. Empty every place in my soul so that the solution has room to settle when it does. I chose relief over resilience, therefore let me not miss the blessing. Let me resist the urge to give up simply because things become difficult. When emotions try to throw me off balance, keep me grounded. When my emotions shout lies, firmly ground me in your reality. Let peace soar higher as impatience rises. Speak calmness over the storm when fear seeks to overwhelm my thoughts. Allow me to battle without using my fists, yet with trust. Surviving the wait isn't the only goal of this season. It's important to take care of it. It's about accepting the profound act of grace that heaven rejoices over, but no applause notices. Thus I am a steward of this moment, Lord. This breath is stewarded by me. I give you my disappointment and beg you to return it with trust. I cede my timetable to your authority. For the guarantee that you complete everything correctly, I release my timing concept. Well, not hurried, not haphazard. I'll wait in optimism rather than with bitterness. Instead of waiting suspiciously, I shall wait with submission. You are worthy, so I will wait with admiration rather than dissatisfaction. Each moment, each quiet day, each stretch that develops me, each no that shields me, and each yes that changes who I am. Your faithfulness indicates that your purpose is weighing you down. You're remolding me into a person, not merely guiding me to a destination. Someone who can fulfill the promise, not merely retain it. Someone who becomes a blessing rather than just receiving one. Someone who doesn't just arrive at the dream but have the ability to maintain, safeguard, and expand it. So Lord, do it. Prepare me, refine me. Make use of this waiting to define me, rather than to weaken me or to postpone me. And I'll be prepared to reflect your glory, as well as receive it when the time comes. I cherish you. I have faith in you. In the name of Jesus, I wait with you. To give up after praying like that, something inside of you knows you are meant for more than giving up if you are still reading these lines. That you haven't let go despite the lengthy wait and the louder than expected stillness. And that counts. Your tale depends on it. It's important for your development. Above all, God cares about it because you are not weak, because you are persistent. It's a weapon. Hell is incapable of calculating that kind of might. And because you are so close to something sacred, so close to a door opening, so close to being someone who doesn't just give up, perhaps the enemy has been making a lot of effort to convince you to give up, endure disappointment while creating altars in the midst of it. I would like to know where the delay has made you feel like quitting. Which dream, pledge, or task have you discreetly recorded? The stillness made it seem as though God had ceased caring, not because you had stopped caring. Allow him to address that location. Allow him to inhale the ashes. God has not forgotten, and he is by no means done. Faith doesn't always feel like a shout. It's as if you were actually there, writing down another prayer and saying amen. When the whole thing is screaming, I am done, Now is your chance. Put this in writing. Say it out loud. I refuse to give up before God acts. Place it on a phone screen, a mirror, or sticky note. Make it your national anthem. Allow it to break the lies. Allow it to speak louder than your anxiety. Due to the fact that this waiting is not empty, it is full of promise. And the same God who started this good work in you will undoubtedly see it through to completion. You are not running late. We don't forget you. You were not weak. You were still upright. They were still calling you. You were still in the narrative. Don't leave too quickly. Not right now. Not in this place. Not when you're now. Next line is being written by heaven. He's not finished yet. You are not either. If this thought resonated with you, let Grace know you are still standing. Put it in the comments section. I'm still upright. I refuse to give up before God acts. Share this with someone you care about if they were feeling worn out from waiting. This fire should not be kept to yourself. This is how our faith unites us. 1 minute at a time, one phrase, one prayer. I appreciate you taking part in this travel. People like you choose to stay, which is why there is a grace prayer. And as a result, we also continue. Music, music,